Welcome to Big Truck Time. Imagine standing next to a tire and realizing the tire is taller than you. Imagine hearing an engine so loud it could shake the fillings out of your teeth. Now picture that machine rolling straight over a line of cars like they're soda cans at a recycling plant. That's not a dream. That's Bigfoot the monster truck, so wild it made the world ask, is that even legal? And in this video, we're not just talking about trucks, we're talking about stories. Because great stories are like monster trucks. They crush silence, they flatten doubt, and they leave people cheering. So let's dive in, because by the end of this video, you won't just know the story of Bigfoot, you'll know how to tell stories that hit just as hard and last just as long. 1. The origin story. Every legend begins with a spark of madness. For Bob Chandler, the spark was simple. He looked at his pickup in the late 1970s and asked, what if I made this thing bigger? Not just a little bigger, giant, ridiculous. Something nobody had ever seen before. At the time, Chandler owned a 4x4 shop in Missouri. He needed to test the parts he sold, but he wasn't careful, he was bold. He lifted his own truck higher, made it stronger, and gave it more bite. Soon customers came just to see the experiments, and the truck became a rolling billboard for his business. In 1979, Chandler found 4 10-foot tires from military vehicles in Alaska. Each tire weighed more than 1,000 pounds, and he bought all 4 for just $1,000. Most people saw junk. He saw opportunity. Once he bolted them onto his pickup, it transformed overnight into a beast. That was the birth of Bigfoot, the world's first monster truck. By 1981, Chandler was lining up junk cars and driving over them. Metal crumpled, glass shattered, and crowds went crazy. Nobody had ever seen a truck destroy cars for fun. It was part science experiment, part circus act. Here's the twist, that first stunt wasn't even planned. Chandler was just messing around in a field. Someone filmed it, the tape spread, and suddenly Bigfoot was famous. By accident, Chandler had created a phenomenon that would shape motorsport history. Storytelling lesson: great stories often start with strange details. One unusual choice, one bold fact. Chandler's was 4 giant tires from Alaska. What's yours? 2. The shock factor. Fast forward to 1986. Chandler unveiled his boldest creation, Bigfoot 5. This wasn't just a truck, it was a skyscraper on wheels. The numbers still sound unreal. 15 feet tall, 20 feet wide, 38,000 pounds. Each tire was heavier than a car. At the time, Bigfoot 5 was officially the tallest, widest, and heaviest monster truck in the world. When it debuted at the Indianapolis Fairgrounds, fans couldn't believe their eyes. People gasped, kids pointed, entire families posed next to the wheels and disappeared into the shadows of the rubber. A single tire towered over grown adults. That debut gave monster trucks their first holy crap factor. A moment so shocking that people told friends, neighbors, and co-workers. Bigfoot was no longer a truck, it was an experience. Every great story needs a moment like that. A reveal so big it makes people stop and say, no way. Movies use them too. Luke learning the truth about Darth Vader, the T-Rex roaring in Jurassic Park, Neo dodging bullets in The Matrix. Bigfoot 5 was Chandler's reveal. A truck so massive it looked impossible. Decades later, people still talk about it. Storytelling lesson: build your own Bigfoot 5 moment. Add a detail so bold and oversized that your audience cannot forget it. That's how you create legends. 3. The emotion engine. But Bigfoot isn't only about numbers, it's about feelings. Numbers tell you size, feelings tell you why it matters. When you see a monster truck, you laugh, it looks absurd. Then the roar hits, and you cheer when it flattens cars. You feel awe when it soars into the air, and a little fear when it lands, shaking the ground under your feet. Chandler didn't just build a machine, he built an emotion engine. Within minutes, his truck made crowds laugh, gasp, and scream. That's why Bigfoot became more than a vehicle. It became a show. The same is true in storytelling. Facts alone don't stick. Feelings do. Humor makes people laugh. Awe makes them marvel. Nostalgia makes them smile. Fear makes them lean in closer. Examples work best. Humor: 10-foot tires because normal tires are too short. Awe: this truck weighs more than 15 elephants. Nostalgia: for kids in the 80s, Bigfoot wasn't just a truck, he was a Saturday morning dream. Storytelling lesson: mix emotions, humor, awe, nostalgia, even fear. The more gears you shift through, the more unforgettable your story becomes. 4. Frameworks that roll. So how do you build a story that hits like Bigfoot? Simple. Think of it like a 4-gear engine. Hook, build, Climax, close. Gear 1, the hook. Start with your loudest fact. Example, what? This truck is taller than your house. People notice instantly. Gear 2, the build. Add tension, create curiosity. Chandler's risk was clear. Would those giant tires even hold? Could it drive? Would the whole thing collapse in front of everyone? Gear 3, the climax. Deliver the big reveal, the turning point, the car crush, the record set, the audience gasps. Gear 4, the close. Land with emotion, inspire, persuade, or make them laugh. Leave them with a line they'll never forget. Bigfoot's shows followed this exact rhythm. The hook was its size, the build was suspense, the climax was the crushing, the close was the cheer. Speeches, movies, even jokes follow the same beat. Storytelling lesson, don't overcomplicate it. Hook, build, climax, close. 4 gears, 1 unstoppable engine. 5 re-hooks and engagement tricks. Even monster trucks don't crush non-stop. They pause, tease, and then explode into action. That pacing keeps fans glued. Stories work the same way. Without variety, people drift. Re-hooks pull them back in. They're sparks of curiosity, promise, or imagination that reignite attention. A question re-hook works. Can you imagine standing next to a 10-foot tire? A promise works too. Wait until you hear what happened at the 50th anniversary show in 2025. A visual is powerful. Picture cars stacked like tin cans. Now picture them crushed in seconds. Re-hooks aren't filler, they're fuel stops. They keep your audience with you until the finish line. Just like a monster truck crowd waiting for the next jump, re-hooks keep people leaning forward. Storytelling lesson, use re-hooks every few minutes. A question, a promise, or a vivid picture. They are your turbo boost. 6. Bringing it all in together. Now let's tie it all together with one mini story. Back in 1979, Bob Chandler bought 4 giant tires and thought, why not? A year later, Bigfoot was crushing cars in front of cheering fans. By 1986, Bigfoot 5 stood 15 feet tall and 38,000 pounds, the largest truck of its kind. In 2025, Bigfoot 24 carried that legacy into its 50th year. That's the cycle. A hook with giant tires, a build with suspense, a climax with the reveal, and a close with inspiration. With humor, awe, and shock added in, it becomes unforgettable. Storytelling is the same. It's not about perfection, it's about power. Bigfoot proved one crazy idea could shake the ground and start a movement. Storytelling lesson, tell your story like a monster truck ride. Start strong, build suspense, deliver the moment, close with emotion. If you do, your story won't just be heard, it will be felt. We've just taken a ride through the world of Bigfoot and the art of storytelling. You learned how to start with a hook, add shock moments, build emotional engines, and keep attention with re-dash hooks. You came in wanting to grab attention. Now you have tools to do it. That problem is solved. Here's the lasting thought. Great stories don't just get told, they get felt. Just like the roar of a monster truck isn't just heard, it shakes your chest, rattles your bones, and stays in your memory. So go out there and tell your Bigfoot story. Make it loud, make it bold, make it unforgettable. And that's the story of how a wild idea, 4 giant tires, and 1 bold man gave birth to Bigfoot, the monster truck that crushed its way into history. If you had fun riding along, don't just hit the brakes here. Smash that like button, roll over that subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next story that's bigger, louder, and maybe just a little crazier. Until then, keep your engines roaring.